President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, says that the next round of peace talks, originally scheduled to take place this weekend, may be postponed, saying tension between America and Iran could cause a delay. President Zelensky also welcomed an announcement by President Trump that Russia's agreed to halt strikes on Ukraine's energy grid for a week, with temperatures set to plummet again at the weekend. But he said he won't make territorial concessions in exchange for a promise of a Russian ceasefire. Russia's repeated massive attacks on Ukraine's energy network has forced millions of people to endure cuts to electricity, heat and water. It's also prompted warnings of a humanitarian catastrophe given the bitter winter temperatures. Peter Zalmayev is director of the Eurasia Democracy Initiative. He shared his thoughts on the possibility of de-escalation.
Zelensky did say that, this would be a sign of progress. Ukraine needs this sort of energy ceasefire. And in fact, I think the Russian side also would like to have a relief from Ukrainian strikes on its oil refining facilities, etc. And so far, the evidence is kind of thin on the ground. This overnight, there have been strikes on various cities in Ukraine, including limited strikes in Kyiv. And you remember, the Russian side explained away, or tried to explain away, the recent strikes in Odessa and a moving passenger train, resulting in the deaths of 5, apparently already after Trump had that discussion with Putin, and the Russians said, oopsie daisy, these things happen. I guess not all of the folks in the chain of command have been informed, and so these things happen. So be that as it may, we do need this sort of ceasefire, but I'm just not sure what the result, what the usefulness it will have for us for just a week-long sort of ceasefire. We need this, for the rest of the winter. And on that score, I have very serious doubts that Vladimir Putin wants that, because he knows that he's not achieving his military goals in the battlefield. So this is part and parcel. The strikes against civilian infrastructure is part and parcel of his strategy to try to bring Ukraine to its knees. Temperatures now are moderate. It's 5 below centigrade. But the problem is that Ukraine has, since the early 90s, had a relatively centralized heating system in Kyiv, and that has allowed Russia to achieve spectacular objectives, essentially casting whole swaths of Kyiv into darkness and cold. And even if this, once again, ceasefire were to hold for a week, I'm just not sure this would allow the Kyivan authorities, for example, to restore much of power to hundreds of thousands of its residents. I mean, some estimates, according to some estimates, it will take not weeks, but months and maybe even years, and tens of billions of dollars to restore normalcy to Kyiv, at least bring it to pre-war levels.